So again, we're live from the LinkedIn Hub at Advertising Week, and I have with me a very different kind of guest right now, Melissa Creighton. She is the production manager at Jim Henson's Creature Shop. It's a lot of shows. Creature Shop. And so you guys are very different than most of the marketers and creative people and tech people and so on that I have interviewed in the past couple of days here at Advertising Week. You guys are in the business of making puppets. Mm-hmm. And so you make puppets for film, you make puppets for television, etc. But as it pertains to us all being here, you make puppets for advertising.
Yes, we create characters.
You create characters. That's much more important. Yes. So we're creating characters for content that is, advertising content, branded content. So I want to talk about that connection and where do those two things line up?
Well, generally, an ad agency would come to us or a client and would involve us at the beginning of an ad campaign. This is what we like best. When they have an idea, and they come to us when they have an idea that involves a character. And we help them design and build and go through the process of creating the character and then figuring out how that character can be shot on film and, and how they can bring it to life. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the very technical side of bringing a character to an ad. But I want to talk more about the roles of characters, of the characters you guys create and imagine and build in advertising, in brands having a certain impression on their users, on their consumers, through a character.
Well, I think that that's a tough one.
Is it? Really?
Well, say it again.
I think it's just, about like how people connect to those characters. Like when you imagine a character, what are you thinking in terms of getting users or consumers or buyers to really be able to connect with that character on an emotional level, deeper level, subsequently connecting with the brand?
Well, I'll tell you what, a puppet has an ability to connect with people in a way that other characters don't, even more so than a human sometimes, because there is something about them that is people let their guard down. And so you see it all the time when the puppeteer is visible and, like a little kid or even an adult is interacting with a puppet, and they will really believe that that puppet is real. And a puppet can say things and can kind of, do things that a human can't really. And sorry, I'm having trouble answering.
No, you're doing totally fine.
So I guess the answer is that a puppet has a way of communicating things that are maybe more complicated or difficult for another type of a character.
And obviously, getting people's guards down, which is a way to connect with them emotionally.
Yes, exactly.
So I also want to talk about, you were telling me something about digital puppetry, which is so interesting. I mean, the whole world is becoming, digital and mobile and everything. And these are, trends that we've been seeing, and I've been talking to people throughout Advertising Week. So, but it's interesting to hear you guys moving into that realm.
Yeah, well, this is something that we did even when Jim Henson was alive, and he was really interested in animating puppets digitally. Remote controls first, and then now we have a digital control system that the Henson Company uses to animate characters live, real time, with the use of a puppeteer. So the puppeteers wear a motion capture suit, and that's how they animate the body movement of the puppet.
Wow.
And they also put their hand inside of a glove that animates all the facial expressions, mouth, talking, everything real time. And so the final result is something that it is animation, it's animated, but it has that life that only a human being can give, that kind of spontaneity and like real-time breath that a puppeteer gives to the character. And what's really exciting is when we can merge that digital animation with the practical puppetry. So an example of that is the Where the Wild Things Are movie we did. Uh-huh. And then also just in this past year, the past couple months, we did Barney, not the purple monster, but he's a teddy bear, and he is a practical suit worn by a 4'2" performer, and he interacts with a little boy, and his face is mapped digitally onto the practical puppet.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the products and characters that either you guys have worked on or that you have just seen, watching ad campaigns, television commercials, etc., where you think people really got it right with this character thing, this character connecting with people?
Well, one example is a really fun ad campaign that we worked on with Wyden and Kennedy, and it's in London, so people may not have seen it here. But it's for 3 Mobile, and there's a character called Jackson, who's a purple furry monster, and we created 3 different puppets for them because this character goes on a journey from being kind of downtrodden. He actually gets wet and splashed by traffic, and a puddle splashes him in the beginning of the ad, and then he finds his inner chi, and we created a whole other version of him that had blown out fur and had kind of discovered
really come into his own
yes
puppety skin.
Yes, exactly. And then the end result is something very moving, and you kind of forget that it's really an ad for 3 Mobile. But they shot it like a film, and we created furry hands for all of the performers that are inspired by him, and a whole another set of furry arms that were used for the photo, the still campaign. And it's been really fun working with them. Yeah.
Wow, that is really exciting. Well, lastly, I just want to ask you about what trends are you seeing? Any particular trends in terms of content creation that involves characters and puppets in that sense that you can kind of shed a little light on?
Oh, I mean, I would say that's interesting. I mean, the trend that we see in people who come to us who are looking for a new character or a new puppet is. People are really interested in having something that's human and monster, like something kind of a cross between. And Jackson's a good example of that. There's a lot of ideas that are like the downtrodden dude who, discovers himself and somehow, wins in the end and overcomes the struggle. And
I think it's probably because people can just really connect with that on a human level, like the rising up from any kind of a struggle or from being downtrodden or whatever. So I think that's why it touches on a very human element.
I think you're right about that. That's probably the trend that we see is people who have that story and people who are kind of looking for a character like that, like something that's a little monster, a little human, and something they can relate to, connect to.
Well, that's very cool. I think what you guys are doing is really cool. And after talking to so many people about like advertising stuff and this and that, it's nice to talk about something so fluffy.
Yes, fluffy and fun. That's what we do.
Fluffy and furry. Thank you so much.
Thank
Melissa.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.